folks. Another week, another opportunity. Johnny Creative Financing with JB. My guests will be on here in a minute. We're running a little behind but I just want to give y'all a brief update of where we at on some stuff before we start. We're gonna have Mr. Barry Morrell here tonight, motivational speaker, and dynamic spoken word artist. You know, he works with within the community, doing a lot of events, and helping people get to the next step of their game, giving them that motivation, what they need to keep going and everything. So he'll be here shortly as we prepare for this week's podcast. Also, you know, we want to talk about the NAB Vets event coming up on November 8th. I want to say November 8th from 6 to 10 at the Modern Maturity Center. It's going to be an excellent event. We're going to be able to get on there and have a good time, and revisit with our veterans, and show you what's going on with them. We're preventing mental illness. That's a big issue out here. We're going to talk about filing claims for your VA benefits. We're going to have General Benson. He's a general of the Air Force Base out here in Dover, African American. We're excited about having him. Schedule is busy and big, but it's going to be a great opportunity for him to come on. And then on November 9th, we're going to have the Jazz Brunch, if you remember, with pastor in Claymont, Delaware, that we're going to get on there and talk about how he's feeding the homeless. So I don't want you guys to miss out on that right now, that event and everything. So we're going to keep abreast of that, and keep it going. You know, we're going to start tonight here shortly. As I said, my Gary Morrell. I wanted to talk about this week, and it's so important. Motivational speaking, motivational words, things to enrich and enhance us. We going through a lot of things in our country today, but guess what? We got to keep our motivation so we can be busy, we can be productive, we can be out there in this community, making sure we're making a difference, making sure that we're doing some things that really are fundamental. We can't go through depression. We can't go through a time that we're struggling with emotions and stuff. We see people's getting laid off. We see they're losing their jobs. You know, government funding might change. You know, some of our veterans might be suffering as well. But I want to be able to keep us motivated, keep us moving in a positive direction, forward and going from there. So that's one of the big things that we're focusing on now, and we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna keep that positive attitude going, because it's so important to keep our mental going strong. People might say, well, hey, what's so big about it? We have to see the positive stuff that's going on in this world, and guess what? And don't be overwhelmed for it and everything, so it can make sense to people. Hey, Nicole, how we doing here? We're gonna have our host here in a minute that's gonna get on. So, you know, we're talking about motivation. We talking about staying motivated, staying positive, making sure that we are doing things that are productive out here in this world. You know, we can do so much bad, but we need to think about doing good. And us doing good means that we're focusing on things that means a lot to us, stuff that matters. This is a question, you know, when you're coming through and you're going through some situations here. How do we get to the point of motivational, of being motivated? How do we get to the point of being able to just think beyond what we're going through today, for it? And it's hard. It's hard. People out here trying to make a living. They're seeing a lot of things happening. Credits being damaged, livelihood is being interrupted. But the key of the matter is that we have to stay focused. We have to stay motivated. We have to move in the right direction so everything will work out according to the good. For we can be miserable every day, but we have to be thankful for it and stuff. And I want to ask people, it's some things you're thankful um, for it, and what is that? What are you thankful for? Did I just walk into another bad day? I'm thankful for that. I woke up. Yo, bro, how you doing, Kurt? What did I really do to produce positive energy out there? We have to keep that mindset. As Barry comes on, he's going to tell you about some times where he had to keep his motivation moving in the right direction, because we'll have a lot of obstacles and situations that keep us down, from people discrediting us, from people not being able to have open and honest conversations, for people not being truthful to us, for people not even understanding why they're in this situation, and I look and I think about that every day. I'm like, yo, how can I stay motivated to keep working and to build my business and to brand my business? How can I keep level headed when all others fails? And the way we do that is that we move in a positive direction. We go to the things that really can make us change what we do, of how we can help people, how we can provide that service, all that. We also have associates ourselves, as Chuck said. We all have to associate ourselves with positive and motivated people. We have to move out of some of those circles, folks. And I tell folks, it's not that you don't want to associate with these people, but you move to the next step or the next level of excellence. You move to the next level of being productive. You move to the next level of just being motivated to go on and to move forward and to keep it going. And guess what? It's not the easiest thing to do. It's something we have to do. And when we do it, we just keep going. And when we keep coming and when we keep going, we can get over that hurdle. I know I used to struggle with staying in the moment. And people might have heard that, oh, I'm going to stay in the moment for a minute. I have to learn how to get out of the moment. I have to learn how to move forward in the moment. I have to learn how to be able to be ready for the moment, because guess what? I'm going to go through problems and I'm going to go through it. Hey, Barry, we just in here talking right now. Good to see you.
Hello,
And
my brother. Blessings. Blessings be upon
yeah,
you.
stuff. And we're just talking about motivation now and everything and how to stay motivated. So, Barry, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. Give us a little background about yourself and tell us how we got into this motivational speaking and stuff.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here, and peace be upon all. My
Yes.
name is Barry Merrill. Poetically, I also do spoken word. I go by the acronym DSP when I do spoken word. That stands for doing something positive, and which is what life's about. So, motivation is doing something positive for me, and life is about purpose, and purpose is about evolving. And we're to evolve in a positive purpose and change for the betterment of life. And
Mm,
my background is I'm a retired fire captain. I did 25 years of fire service in Camden, New Jersey, and I moved to Delaware. And my whole life has been about community service and giving back, because we can't take it with us. We have to move it forward, and that's my calling, and that's my charge.
yeah, tell us how you got into that. What made you want to be motivational? You come from a hard, firefighting 25 years, and now you encouraging people to just stay positive.
Well, it just comes from an upbringing. Myself, I grew up in North Philadelphia. No mother, no father. A rough neighborhood, and I had to learn how to fend for myself and learn how to have pride and and find a reason to be when I watched others who had families that were nuclear and I didn't have a nuclear family. So I learned to find strength in desiring a nuclear family even at a young age. So it inspired me to want to do things to be a better person at an early age. That emptiness. So the emptiness became my strength rather than my weakness, and I became uh, motivated to move forward in life because of the emptiness. So emptiness was my strength, and I know what it feels like to be empty, not growing up with a mom and dad. So I share
Mm.
that with empathy to others because I understand what it's like to grow up in those situations. So it behooves me to give back to those who weren't able to deal with it in a manner that I was able to, who maybe are struggling with that emptiness where I had strength to go through it. So it's my charge to give back and help combat that.
Oh wow, giving back, and some people, they're just fortunate, to be able to get through that. And I want to take my hat off to Barry right now, because that's a strategy to stay positive, losing your parents and stuff like that, and being able to still go forth and stuff. And Barry, we was talking. I was at a meeting last night, and they was talking about how it's so hard for some of our orphan kids to just move in a positive direction, and
Yes.
to find some hope. So what are some of the ways you can encourage people to just stay positive, move in this direction that's going to be helpful to you?
Well, there's so many caveats, and the solution is all of us, in my opinion, my humble opinion. There's no one like singular or solitary answer. Our combined efforts to build something to a surplus for our community is what will make it work. When it comes to the youth, so much of what was available when I was a younger man, I'm 60 years old now. A
Wow.
lot of the trade, like a lot of the community centers aren't open. They say it's because of budgetary constraints, and a lot of the communities and a lot of the boys and girls clubs, a lot of those things aren't available at the same capacity or numbers that they were when I was younger. So that's a hindrance. So we have to find some way to combat that and not depend on government aid to find community remedies and community outlets. And that's going to happen through volunteering, because everything can't be funded. If we don't care enough about our youth to volunteer and roll up our sleeves, then why should we? Why should government care? In my opinion.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, for it. And why should they care? Because they okay. People feel like if I'm okay, well, I'm gonna worry about anything else
Yes, and
for this.
governments, in my opinion as well, my humble opinion, governments are set up to control, not to take care of. They control society. They control the country. They keep down civil unrest and anarchy. That's what the government system is supposed to do. The communities, we're supposed to police our own communities and do the positive things and weed out those negative weeds out of our communities so we can have vibrant communities. And that's something that's lacking. And the children have to see that. They don't see it in a large capacity. It's being done, but it's not being done in large capacity, and that's a hindrance to them, so that they don't see the vision. So we have to give them vision, and that comes through our energy and inspiring them, and that's where words come in. But words are not actions. Words are just thoughts. Once those thoughts inspired, it can motivate people to action. So I speak to inspire, and I inspire in the hopes of motivating people to move forward in a positive direction, and that's what I do every day.
Oh, awesome. Somebody asked the question, how do emotions impact our motivation?
Great question. I I am a stickler. This is my peeve, and I don't have any degree in any type of psychology or psychiatry or anything. But there's a big thing going on now that's called emotional intelligence. The last time I looked, just I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. The word
Mhm.
emotion is impulse. Doesn't require cognitive thinking. The word intelligence requires cognitive thinking. So if you're using cognitive thinking, you're not being emotional, because before you are emotional, you use cognitive thinking. Therefore, emotional intelligence to me should be more or less social intelligence. Social intelligence is when you encompass your emotions and your socializations with others in your community. If you know how to socialize, then you'll know how to control your emotions. So me, I think it should be phrased social and not emotional, because when you add emotion, then now you're putting impulse into it instead of logic. I like to think of things logically and whenever I can, and then filter the emotions through the logic whenever I can. But I'm not a robot. I'm emotional sometimes like any other, but I'm cognizant and thoughtful of that process of not being overly emotional and not letting them control me when I know logical means could bring a much more informative answer.
Yeah. And somebody asked another question. What is the role of unconscious motivation? So how can I
Wow.
be just motivated?
Unconscious motivation.
Yes.
There, and again, in my humble opinion, when I speak in terms of purpose, and
Right.
there is purpose that we accept. There's purpose that is thrust upon us, and its
Hmm.
purpose of being what I would say useless. And when I say useless, in order for there to be users in the world, there have to be useless people who the users use. Not that those people's souls are useless, but because don't have a purpose, people are creating a dynamic for their purpose, so they're utilizing them for their purpose. So your purpose, the unconsciousness, in my opinion, is when you have purpose, and when you have purpose, you're evolving, and your reality and your authenticity just starts to formulate because it's inert, it's coming from within, it's nothing external, it's coming from within. If it's coming from your unconscious, that's coming from your internal self. And your internal self is opposite of all the distractions that are outside of ourselves. So that's a positive voice to listen to. Definitely.
So tell me this. How do you find your purpose? Somebody asks. They probably seen it. They probably heard the word. Hey, you got to have a purpose. How do I find my purpose?
Well, purpose to me, purpose is not found. Purpose exists, and you walk into it or you walk away from it. That's just
Mm-hmm.
my humble opinion.
Mm-hmm.
If you're evolving for positive change in your life, then that evolution to a higher evolution of yourself, a higher consciousness of yourself is going to evolve because you're seeking to change in a positive light. So just walking towards positive change is going to bring purpose towards you. When you aren't embracing positive change, when you're stagnant or you're in a position where of unknowing, then that's where others can utilize you for their purpose, and your purpose becomes their purpose, and your divine purpose or your inner purpose or your spiritual purpose is kind of sheltered or hindered to the side.
For this. Yeah, and that's so key. Understanding your purpose and walking in a purpose is what keeps you part of your motivation. For one, I believe,
Yes, yes,
because you
yes,
know what you're doing, you know how you gonna operate today, and you're acting like you said logically, in that mindset. The next question
yes.
somebody asked: how can motivation contribute to managing mental health in the workplace?
How can motivation help in
And how can motivation contribute to managing mental health in the workplace? So how can
motivation?
go ahead?
Motivation is when you have a thought that you're acting on. So, in order for motivation to aid you in your workplace, your thoughts have to be inspired for what is why are you there? Are you there to just be a member of the team? Are you there to enhance the team? You have to be inspired through your thoughts. And once you're inspired through your thoughts, the motivation it goes into motion. So inspiration is the key. Motivation is when thoughts go into action. So you have the momentary thought, you put the momentary thought into action, and that becomes motivation. So the inspiration, the thought, you must have the proper thought process. Motivation begins from an inspired thought. Inspired thought comes from thoughts of purpose, thoughts of gravitating towards a better understanding of the world or better understanding of your life, always for the betterment. And when you're inspired for the betterment, doors will open and ideas will come and the motivation will be innate.
Mm. So tell me this, Mr. Murrah, that how do people stay inspired? I mean, what inspires you? Do I just find something I like to do, or what keeps that inspiration going?
Well, I find one to be a solitary number, and that life is about. I'm trying to switch some gears here,
Okay.
but I think it ties in.
Mm-hmm.
Love is something that is sought by many,
Mm-hmm.
but it's something that we all should give rather than something we should seek. And my
Mm-hmm.
example is a village, a village where everyone in the village is taking care of the village, taking care of the agriculture, taking care of the infrastructure. Everyone is taking care of the village. The love is being expressed without any verbal implications of it because each one is unified in helping the other. So that unity is the love. When one person seeks that position, then the
Mm-hmm.
love doesn't reverberate in the same atmosphere. So now you get levels. So love is we live in a world where love is subjugated instead of objective, where we should just give it freely. If we give it freely, it'll come back freely. Because it's sought, you seek it, many seek it where it's not visible, where it's not present. But if you just gravitate it, it gravitates back to you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
so therefore that's what. So if you're doing that, if you're expressing that love and that gratitude, because gratitude is the highest form of love you can express. Because gratitude is love without condition. I recognize that you exist. I respect your existence. I respect your right to live, and I wish for you to have a grateful existence just as myself. I don't have to be attached to you to wish you that. That is from my essence.
Right. Right.
So that's the highest form of love we can have. So that's what a village does. Everyone shows gratitude in a village, and that's a high. We're grateful for one another because us together make this village strong. If one person breaks the link, now we have to reorganize the village.
Mm. Mm. That makes sense.
Yes,
And that goes
and
back
we
to
have
that
to
time.
get back to that. We have to get back to that. We have to get back to that because love has been romanticized. Western European philosophy has romanticized love and made it an object instead of something, an object that we seek instead of something that we release. We already have it. So we don't have to seek it. If we all released it, it'll be universally released. But Western European philosophy has changed it. And prior to Western European philosophy, Asian and African cultures, love was not something that was expressed verbally. It was a given because the village was a unit and the love was in the gratitude, the universal love. So we
Mm.
have to get back to that. We have to get back to that.
And that's good. Love is just would you consider love just an action of what we do versus how would you describe love?
Love is just a form of gratitude. It's a form of gratitude where you show affection, where you show attachment, and you show attraction. But that's
Mm-hmm.
but and those are just forms of gratitude. But those are levels that have to be expressed outwardly. Whereas gratitude is something that you don't even all you have to do is recognize. So love is just another form of gratitude, but just a different frequency or different level of gratitude. Where gratitude is just the highest form of love you can have, unconditional love. I respect your existence. I'm grateful for your existence. Your right to exist. There's nothing more humble than that, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a good way to think of it when you expressing that, because sometimes we use those words loosely,
Yes,
and we don't really have the concept of what we're really trying to express right there at the moment, and sometimes folks get a little overwhelmed with it. you know
yes,
uh, if you love me, you wouldn't do that to me, or
yes,
you wouldn't.
yes, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
What can I get from you? What can you do for me? What you know myself I'm human. I don't practice it all the time because I'm not a robot. I'm not infallible, but my mindset, my process is to give love freely to people and share it in abundance with those that radiate love towards me, but no hate towards those who don't. I just realize our frequencies aren't aligned. So I'll give you the spaces you need until our frequencies are aligned, and then we'll be in a loving atmosphere together. Until then, I'm not going to create an atmosphere of hate or distrust or envy, because I don't need that energy, because that subtracts from me. If you're hating someone else, you're not loving yourself, because the energy you're wasting hating them is the energy you're wasting loving yourself and improving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So hate is waste. You're sitting contemplating someone else's demise instead of your own success and victory. Makes no sense.
Right.
I always contemplate the victory. It's a lot more palatable. It's a lot more palatable. But I'm humble in defeat. I'm humble in defeat, because defeats are just lessons. Anytime when I lose, it's just a life lesson. There's always something to learn. Every misfortune is a lesson, and every fortune is a blessing. So you have to share them both.
Yeah. So somebody asked, what are the common misconceptions about your profession or your field? What are some of the misconceptions with it being in that profession that you're in, with this motivational and spoken word that people might have in that line of work?
Well, a misconception, as many, is that the motivational speaker or inspirational speaker. I like to use the term inspirational because I think words inspire, words don't motivate. That's my personal opinion. But the fact that they're going to be the savior, that they're going to be the one to trigger the light that didn't come on for you, that you were looking for the acceptance that you were seeking for yourself, but that may come about for some, but not for many, because no one knows what you want for you better than you. So the answer doesn't come from them. They may inspire you with outlining a direction, but you know what's best for you. You know what no one knows what you want for you better than you. So no one can attain your success for you better than you. Right. All people can do is help you attain that success and give you avenues and branches and ladders that you can use to climb towards that success. But only you know the success you wish to be. And if that is and that's your light. That's your light. See, a lot of people are searching for the light. You are the light. You have to allow your light to be spotted. You see, so you don't search for the light. The light is within you. People look externally for a light that already exists. The light exists within you. You are the light. Right. So you have to let that light shine. We're all diamonds. Some of us just lumps of coal right now, just need to be brushed off. But we're all diamonds.
We all and so they think that you're gonna fix the problems. You start motivational, their life is probably gonna change instantly. When a lot of time it comes from how you want to make that change.
Yes, acceptance. The motivational speaker speaks. They speak in a voice that your spirit or your consciousness or your thoughts hear clearly. They resonate with your inner spirit or your frequency or your character, and it resonates. And once it begins to resonate, you begin that acceptance. You began the transformation, and you're giving them credit for something that you're actually transforming into yourself. So be able to accept that credit as an individual. It's good to be inspired and motivated by others, but that's all it is. They're inspiring and motivating something that already exists inside of you. So give them the credit for existing the light, but they didn't ignite the light. They only existed something that you already possessed, that you were waiting to release when you began to realize it was your idea, your purpose, your success that you were striving for. They were just aids along the way. And you have to reinforce your thoughts with that. You are as you think. You think success, you are success. It doesn't mean it will happen overnight, but if you continue to walk in that light, the light you walk in is the light that you shine.
And another misconception is like, Barry, you never get upset. You never have a bad day. As doing motivational speaking. Man, shoot, this guy, he laughing and he joking all the time. He don't know what it is to go through this.
Oh my goodness! Oh, do I? I have 6 children and 9 grandchildren, and I'm blessed to have a mother that's still with me, and they keep
Hmm.
me moving, and it's a wonderful circus that they take me through a lot of different acts, juggling acts,
Right.
lion taming acts, but it's beautiful because it's all love. It's all communication, under communication, understanding, and comprehension. So a lot of people communicate, but they don't comprehend. Just because I communicate with you, but did you understand what I'm saying? Did you comprehend it to your understanding?
Hmm.
A lot of people don't take that in context in conversation. Yeah. I told him or I told her, but did they comprehend what you told them? Did you just speak to them as you were speaking to you know, as if
Child.
you were commercial, like you're a commercial giving out words and jargon, or did you actually? It's very important. I find that, and to be very important. I like to when I engage people. I like to be be sure and be confident that they understand and comprehend what I'm saying. I have no problem regurgitating or restating it the same way. I'm the same way if someone else speaks. To me, a genius asks questions. So the only way a genius can solve a problem is the question would already exist. So
Right.
I have no problem asking questions. Some people are afraid to ask questions
Right.
because they don't want
Mhm.
to look inferior or less intelligent. No, a genius only solves problems by questioning what already exists. So
That's
your
right.
questions are your genius. Your questions are your genius.
That's it. And tell us this: how do you handle criticism or negativity when you're dealing with these folks? You probably walk and you see a lot of folks there that have negative connotations, or they come to you, Barry. You up here to motivate people, man. This stuff is a gimmick. you know. How do you handle that negative energy?
I allow people to have their perspective. I don't entertain negative energy at all costs. Whenever I can deflect negativity, because that's another term. As someone who likes to inspire people and motivate people, that I match energy. The worst thing I've ever heard is match energy. Because you match energy with a fool, what does that make you?
Right.
Worst thing I ever heard. No, with negativity, I deflect, I diffuse, or I destroy.
Mhm.
I don't match negativity because if I do that, then I'm bringing negativity into my essence, and that's not going to work.
Yeah, yeah.
Doing something positive is not just a mantra or anything for me. Before I was a firefighter, I was an elementary school guard at elementary school. So that's what I've done. You know, what I mean, public service has been just been what I've been. It's been my charge. It's something it's what I've been called to do because it's what I've been doing. I'm also a member of the American Legion, the Sons of the American Legion. I'm the vice commander of my detachment, Post 968, Philadelphia, PA. Proudly represent them. We are a nonprofit organization. For those who don't know,
Mhm.
American Legion is a veteran organization. It takes care of veterans and also does community work. And I'm vice commander of my detachment there as well. So it's about community involvement. That's
Yeah,
what
thank you for your service. We appreciate that as
Well, I'm
well.
not a veteran. I'm not a veteran. I'm a son. My dad was in Korea.
Okay, okay.
I'm a son. They have the American Legion, and they also have the Sons of the American Legion. So you're allowed to join in, but they are interconnected, and it's all nonprofit, and it's all community based relations. Yeah.
Yeah, for itself. So yeah, that handling, and how do we tell people how to handle criticism? How do people handle criticism? How do they get beyond that without feeling like it's can be overwhelming?
That's a Wow. That's a very good one. That's a very good one because we all have different levels of emotions, and we all have different views on life. And just me tackling that, a person who doesn't know you is not criticizing you. They're talking about you and they don't know you. So
Mhm.
they're only criticizing you if they actually know you and know exactly what they're talking about. So a person who doesn't know you, who is being critical of you without knowing that who you are, just based on an observation that they're making, not knowing the essence of you as a person, then you cannot allow them to have that power. because they
Mm-hmm.
don't know you. You have to wait a minute. They don't even know me. They don't know nothing about the essence of who I am. How am I going to let this person over here ruin my day? So you have to empower yourself to realize that people who don't know you will be critical of you, will say things about you, but you know who you are, and you can't allow people who do not know you to interfere with the person that you are. And when it comes to people who do know you, I don't feel people that do know you should be critical of you. You should uh, make them accountable or hold them to charge for that. Hey, look, if you're going to be critical of me, critique me, don't criticize me. Which means if you critique me, say something negative, but have something a positive reinforcement to follow it up, because that's what life's about. Because I can't help a brother or sister by always patting them on the back. Sometimes I gotta critique you and say, brother or sister, I know that's the way you do it, but as somebody that loves and cares about you, you might want to try doing it this way. I know you don't like what I said, but I said it out of love, and you do what you feel. But you
Mm-hmm.
offer them another way. You don't just tear somebody down without building them back up. So
Right,
that
right.
any person that does that is not part of your circle. They don't mean good for your welfare, and they're part of your detriment. Distance yourself, because every family member ain't a friend, and every friend ain't family.
Ooh, that you said a lot right there. You said a whole lot right there.
Yes,
And
sir. Yes, sir.
yeah, for it, and knowing that, and knowing your circle. Robert said the way I handle negative energy, I throw the reverse psychology on it, works every time.
Awesome.
Um, yeah, for it, and that's a good one, Rob. You got to throw that reverse psychology on them, because sometimes you don't have a place for it, because that can drain your motivation too.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. Yes.
when you focus on that, and folks, I just tell you, we're gonna put let you know that Mr. Barry got a phone number and stuff that we're gonna put across the screen here for you. If y'all want to reach out, y'all need that motivation. Y'all need somebody that can kind of work with y'all through circumstances and situations. It's good to have an accountability partner.
Yes.
For
Yes.
and when you have an accountability partner, you're able to understand that they're giving you the true meaning of what's happening here.
Yes.
Why is it
Yes.
happening? What am I doing? And why am I doing it?
Yes.
You have to have that. And when you have that accountability partner, you start to really focus. You're like, okay, now this makes sense to me, why this is happening, or why am I doing something like this? And they give you the truth, because you have to understand that the truth is something that's going to set you free.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
It's going to give you a new. It's going to give you a new outlook on how you're supposed to do things, and why is this happening and stuff. But I learned that when I have accountability partners, sometimes I'm not looking for them to give me a right or wrong or agree with me. I'm looking for them to make me better, to make me stronger, to
Yes.
make the best version, and I can. And will they always give me nice comments? No, they just gonna give me the truth, and I got to deal with that. I got to deal with that.
A
I got
medicine, good medicine don't normally taste good.
no, it don't. It don't. For it, sometimes it's the worst stuff you ever drank.
Yeah,
So,
be the best
but
thing for you though.
yeah, you,
And
you
I'll add up. And when it comes to speaking, the voice, everyone has their own voice, so it's unique. There's no tailored message, for everyone. You have to identify and really be able to identify with the person you speak to. So you have to open yourself up for them to be willing to open up to you, so you can talk to them directly and not just be making it like some soapbox or rhetoric that's being spewed off. Because it's about really trying to engage the person, because they're
right.
they're opening up to you. So why would they open up to you if you're not willing to open up to them? You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And then you share them your experience and let them know that they're not the only one going through it. So each audience is different. Ethnic, cultural values are different, genders are different, ages are different. So, ethnicities are different. So conversations are, as much as conversations can be the same and overlap, there's also, as we know, variances. So you have to, and when you speak to people, you have to take that into account when you're speaking to individuals.
Yeah. Somebody asked the question, how do you balance your personal life with your mental health?
I don't know what to call myself. I mean, I'm, I'm different. I'm built
Right.
different. I think it's kind of because, like I said, growing up with no mom and no dad, it kind of roughed me around the edges a little bit, and I had to toughen up real fast and real quick. I just want to add this: when I was growing up in Philadelphia, I was being raised by my nanny, and my nanny at 12 had a massive stroke. So at 12, I had to turn around and start bathing and cooking and washing and cleaning for my nanny at 12 until the age of 18, where then I branched off and she told me to go off, and it was time for me to be a man and go off into the world. So
Wow.
I've kind of been on a, just had a rough edge around me. So I really don't get too flustered. I realize that bad times come.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has a good day every day. Even a billionaire has a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
A billionaire's got billions of dollars. He can go anywhere he wants in the world, but if he breaks his arm, I think that's a bad day.
Right.
And his money can't stop the broken arm. All the money in the world ain't gonna stop that broken arm. So everybody can have a bad day. I realize that, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody's not going to be able to work with you and interact with you, and I accept that too. So I walk through life with a humble grace, and would love for everyone I interact with, and with the hopes of building something positive with everybody that I meet. And that's my mindset. And when I can't do that, then I realize it's time for myself to remove myself from this environment because this is not conducive to my growth. But it took me
Right.
years to achieve this because I'm 60 years old. I wasn't like that when I was 30. I'm 60 now. So what I've achieved is years of just life experiences and accepting the misfortunes in my life and not allowing them to become my detriments because misfortunes happen to all. And once we realize that misfortunes happen to all and they are able to accept that, then they kind of don't sting as much.
Mm. And Barry, somebody said, how do you handle a bad day? I mean, how do you handle a bad day? You know?
Well, if I have to cry, I cry. If I got to pound my fist, I pound my fist. If I got to read a book, I read a book. But what I don't do is take it out on other people.
Mm.
When I'm frustrated, what can I do to remove it? My mind moves to inward. Your success always comes from within. Anything you need to do will not come from external sources. They can only aid in opening something that already exists in you. So when I'm getting that outside energy, when I'm frustrated or angry, I'm able to at this point in my life, I'm able like, wait a minute, hold on, I got to do something else because this is not going the direction I wanted to go. You have to control the narrative. Don't let the narrative control you.
Mm. That.
You have to be in control of your life. You can't let your life control you. You are the author. You are the co-author. You are the pilot. So you got to steer the ship. You can't let the ship steer you. You have to always remember, I'm steering this ship. Sometimes you need a co-pilot while you're steering, but always remember, it's your ship. No one
Mm.
knows your destination better than you.
That's amazing right there. And that's true, Nobody understands, nobody can really change it. You have to
Yes,
motivate yourself to go through that stuff. And folks, and Barry, I'm gonna let your phone number go across the screen in case we have some folks that you might need that motivational speaking, you might need that inspiration, you might need somebody to come and talk to, and you might just call them and say, hey, Barry, I might need your services, for this, this what I'm facing in my workplace, this what I'm facing in my church atmosphere. Can you
yes,
come and give us some outlook of how we can handle this or how we can deal with this? And folks, it's okay. It's
yes,
okay to go through those situations, but come to get some guidance is the best way to make it happen. For
yes.
next, got Barry Kilman 5454 at gmail.com. And we have his phone number at 609 802 17 57, man, reach out. Don't go through this episode of feeling in this depression mode or going through so much stuff and don't know how to handle it or figure out how somebody can guide you through handling. Because like I started talking when I came on, Barry, I was just talking about we're going through a rough time with the government, the people being laid
Yes,
off, the
yes,
job situations. This is a first time experience for a lot of folks out here. But guess
yes.
what? We can get through this. Is it going to be easy to get through? Absolutely not. But we just have to keep pushing forward to make it happen, to understand that it can't always be like this, you know,
No, no.
and it can't stay like this forever because it's not forever. I said something,
Yes,
Barry, when I was in the Navy. I said something, and I was in boot camp and I seen these guys. I thought they was a little bit more fit than I was. And
yes, yes,
and my mind said, I'm like, yo, they're not gonna kill me here. What's not gonna happen? I can't die here doing it. I can just keep pushing and going on. I might get hurt,
yes,
but I'm coming back. And when I got there, we had a lot of guys at the fastest running, but we finished that last test. And when I was
yes.
number 3, I went back and grabbed some guys, and they're like, what made this happen for you? I like, man, while y'all was over there doing y'all service week and stuff, I was over here running. I was over here working out. I was out here pushing. Because guess what? I wasn't gonna be 75 out of 90 again. That wasn't
I
gonna
heard
happen.
that.
You,
That's
you
yes,
know,
sir.
because
Yes, sir.
motivation that I had to put inside myself, inside my mind, when I was walking, and I'm like, yo, this has got to be the best thing. This is gonna
Yes,
really get what I want to get and stuff. And they say, yo, you came a long way. So I think, yo, I made it. I made it.
yes,
I wasn't the fastest. I wasn't the slowest. I was in the middle, but I finished 3 at
yes.
coming back. And I like, yo, I felt good about it because guess what? It gave me the motivation to go ahead and act like I can win. I can really win in these situations.
Awesome.
So, and I had to think like that. I can win. And it just depends how.
Wow, I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
That's a great motivational tool right there. I can win. Believing in yourself. I love that. I can win. That's the power in what people don't. But that's something people also don't realize. There are really powers in words. Words manifest power. As you speak, what you speak is what you live. You speak evil, you're gonna attract evil. You speak good, you're gonna attract good. If I walk
that's
around cursing the people out every day, eventually somebody gonna call me on that. Who you talking to? What I mean. But if I go around and being pleasant, it's more likely people will say, "Oh, that's a pleasant man," So you get what you put out. You definitely do. So you got
somebody
to believe you can win.
Yeah. Somebody asked, Barry, who has been your biggest influence or mentor in your life?
Woo! Wow. Oh man. I've had many. And still engaging. Even at 60, I'm still mentoring. I mean, you never stop. The learning process doesn't stop. When you stop learning, then you stop living. Because evolution is life. Your purpose is to evolve into a better version of yourself, and that doesn't stop. But major influences for me:
Mhm.
uh, Bob Marley,
Mm.
Malcolm X,
Mhm.
my older brothers. I have two older brothers.
Mhm.
Uh, Let me Malcolm. A couple of yeah, Yeshua,
Mhm.
Muhammad, Buddha,
Mhm. Mhm.
and who else? Couple of Tupac Shakur and Gil Scott Heron.
Mm.
Maya Angelou. Oh wait, Maya Angelou. I can't leave Maya out. Maya. I've got Maya and Langston Hughes. I started writing poetry because of Langston Hughes. I read his biography, and now some 1,000 poems later, Um, I'm, I'm just a poetry nut. It's just part of my DNA. But yeah, I have 1,000 poems now. So Langston Hughes, Dunbar, Paul Laurence Dunbar, James Baldwin, Martin Luther King. Yeah,
Wow. Wow. So tell me that what got you, what really motivates you about these folks? I mean, if you had like one thing that brought out, what can you say?
they live their truth. They lived their truth, they lived their purpose, and they executed it. And they did it in great fashion.
Mm,
Malcolm X went from we know his story. He went from a con man, a thief, you name it, do whatever, went to jail and became a man who all he did was speak truth, and they killed a man for telling the truth. Never said hurt anybody. All he did was speak the truth. They killed a man, Martin Luther King, killed for telling the truth. Tupac Shakur, even though he got involved with that thug stuff, you listen to his raps, most of his raps were conscious raps that were talking about upward mobility. He had the thug raps, but he had to put those out, but that's another story because that's part of the industry. You can't put out the conscious stuff, but you put out the industry ain't gonna let you just put out the down. They gotta put that thug stuff out. We'll let you put out some good ones, Tupac, but you gotta put the thug stuff out. So
right.
he has some valuable messages in music. Gil Scott Heron, the godfather of rap, his conscious contribution. Maya Angelou, her story is just amazing. Going through child abuse as a child and her surviving that and become the laureate that she became. Bob Marley came from a broken home
Mm,
of interracial parents, and he had to go through that being teased, and was broken. He was broke in England when they
mm,
stole his song. They stole his song. He went to England for his song. They stole because he didn't have a copyright. They stole his song. I Can See Clearly Now by Johnny Nash was a song. They stole it. Bob Marley wrote another song called Concrete Jungle and started Island Records after that. So perseverance, belief in self, and purpose. Even though they stole his dream, they couldn't steal it because it was his dream. He still made it, and now he's an icon now. So it's just so many people. Yeah, so many. Probably some others I'm leaving
wow.
out.
Yeah. Somebody said, how has your years in fire service prepared you for what you do today?
Great. Now that's a great one. I retired as a fire captain. And as a fire captain, I had the responsibility of three individuals every day to make sure they got home to their families. And I took that responsibility to beyond integrity, beyond superior, because I want to get home to my family, and I valued their lives as much as myself. And I've loved my children. Like I said, I got 6 children, so my motivation was to get those people home, and the only way I get them people home was to be the best captain I could be. So I studied. I went to Dillard University to a 5-year program. It's a great gentleman named Carl Holmes. He developed something called Executive Leadership Development Program, and
Mm-hmm.
he also developed an incident management command system. After the Oklahoma bombing, when that
Mm-hmm.
Timothy McVeigh did the bombing, Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Carl Holmes, the African American, developed the incident command system that now the entire world uses.
Mm.
Dr. Carl Holmes. So I went to his institute. It was a 5-year executive leadership program that taught you leadership skills, management skills, effective speaking skills, effective listening skills, interviewing skills. And it taught me more. I always was a person who could interact with people. It gave me more interactive skills. So that's something really enhanced me. But so the fire service, being a captain, being able to partake in the leadership courses that I took in my capacity as a fire officer prepared me to be able to speak to people and be able to speak about situations and sequences to help people in their lives, because that's what it's about, trying to live better.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's awesome. And another question: what strategies do you use to build confidence when self doubt creeps in? So, what
Ooh, that's a tough one.
strategies do you use to build confidence when self doubt creeps in?
Strategies for confidence. Wow, that is a good one. That is a good one. There, everyone has a different trigger. I would say you have to look at what triggers you in a positive light. When you have that self doubt coming in, you have to go back with your positive trigger. What you have to go inward. It's
Mm-hmm.
always inward, Pete. It's never external. Always accept your inner strength. Never deviate from your inner strength. Always realize you possess inner strength. And any strength that you think you're receiving externally, that's just them touching the strength that you already possess. So when that happens, you have to look at the trigger, the things that you normally do to stay on your positive road. You have to have that mental trigger to jumpstart yourself to get back on track. So you have to have that. You have to remember your triggers. What is your trigger? You have to remember your trigger and reenact it. Flip that switch, and you have to do it. Believe in yourself. Be motivated in your success. And like you said, my brother, believe you're going to win. And when you believe you're going to win, that'll help that trigger to activate. You know, everybody knows what they do when they're moving in their best, when they're being that positive version of themselves. And you have to always remember that version of yourself when those times come, and have that trigger to turn that switch. Hey, I can win, and I know what I do, what I'm capable of. You have to resonate in your own ability, resonate in yourself, believe in yourself. It's you are strength. Strength never comes external. Strength always comes from within. People just awaken that voice that's already inside of you, waiting to speak. That's all that's happening.
Right. Boy, and that's good. And Robert Dickerson, he had a question that we had come across the screen there for it, and he said, was you a firefighter during the movement fire?
I was a firefighter in Camden, New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, I was across the river from Philadelphia. I was a firefighter in Camden, New Jersey.
Mm.
And no, at that time I wasn't. No, I wasn't on the fire. I was still a young man when the move happened. I wasn't on the fire service yet. I think I might have been in my teen years during that era.
Mm-hmm. What is your biggest joy in your motivational speaking?
My biggest joy is knowing that all I'm trying to do is help people become a better version of themselves. That's my
Mm,
joy. Helping people become a better version of themselves. There's nothing to me. Not a greater feeling than aiding someone be a better version of themselves, because we all want to be better versions of ourselves. So just the fact of knowing that's what I'm doing, and that's my my end goal is
mm.
great. And hey man, it's like doing push-ups. Get that blood pumping, get that blood circulating, man. I still do my exercise. I'm 6 years old, still exercising. You got to keep moving, man. I'm blessed. I'm still moving. I'm blessed.
Yeah, after 25 years, man, in that fire service, man, that's amazing.
Oh, I'm
Um,
banged up a little bit though. I got spinal stenosis. I got degenerative hips. I got a torn rotator, a broken foot, broken hand. But I'm Hey, but guess what? I ain't complaining. I'm just sharing because I'm blessed to be here. There are a lot of people who made the ultimate sacrifice, and
mhm.
my prayers to their families always, because you never know. You answer that bell. That bell could be your last bell. So I was blessed to make it through, and I'm very thankful.
Yeah, and what are some of the motivational conversations you probably had in that fire service that keep people motivated? Um,
For me, it's just always letting the people know we're here for a cause, not just because. The people depending on us, their families, their children, that want to grow up to be functioning adults and want to be part of society, and it's our charge to protect them and their homes, and their lives, and their properties every time we step in this building. And I
mm,
think that's an honor and a privilege. And anybody that doesn't feel that way, I think you should leave this building at this very time, because you can't be on my team. You can't be on my team, because I did my job with honor and integrity, man. I gave it all I had, so I couldn't do it anymore. I retired because I couldn't do the job anymore. My one of my classmates became chief. He became chief of the department, and when I was ready to retire, he's like, B, you can't leave, man. You got all this experience, man, and you people, you got that motivating voice, man. We need you, young guys. I said, look, man, I can't do the job no more. It's a liability, man. I can't be in a building to be a liability. I could cost somebody their life. I'm not going to be here chasing money when people's lives are at stake. And I couldn't do the job no more.
yeah,
My body couldn't do it. Carrying the air tank on my back, and all that equipment we got, and lugging the hose, and I couldn't do it anymore. My body, it said, hey, enough.
it said no. I'm stopping right now.
Yeah, yes, I had to walk. After 25 years, I had to walk out. But it was an honor and a privilege. It's an honor and a privilege, man.
Man, Barry, man, I thank you so much, man, for coming on and giving us that motivation. And folks, as you see the phone number, as you see the email go across the screen, reach out, let him know, how he can provide that service for you, because we're going through a crucial time right now with our government, with what's happening in the world. We see a whole lot of changes that a lot of us not used to. We need to keep our motivation flowing in a positive direction. We need to keep
Yes,
moving forward, because guess what? We can't control that, but we can control what we're doing and how
yes,
we're doing it and when we're going to do it. And man, it's just a pleasure to have that resource to be able to do that. As I tell y'all every week, I'm providing resources and recommendations and folks that's able to work with y'all through this. And tonight we met Mr. Barry Morrell for it, and doing something positive, DSP, for, and y'all remember that. Mr. Barry, I want to thank you so much. If you got some closing comments for our audience, please let us know.
I just want to say it's been a sincere pleasure to be here with you, brother. To partake in your podcast, to be able to address individuals that are listening. I'd like to say to everyone out there, life is a process. Life is a journey. Enjoy the journey. There are going to be hills and valleys. There are going to be peaks. There are going to be crescendos. But always remember, you're looking through the window, and the window is vast and wide, and the opportunity for your success is outside that window every day. And your life is the window that you look through. Nobody can change the view of your window. The eyes are the window to your soul, and your soul is the window. So peek outside your window, see what opportunities are there, and always believe, as my brother said earlier in the conversation, you cannot lose fact that you can win. Michael Jordan did not win a championship every year. He played 13 years. He won 6 titles. So Michael Jordan, the great Michael Jordan, did not win every year. So everybody, but really, I say that with all sincerity so you can realize that failure does not mean you are a failure. Failure is not even failure. Failure is a word made up. It's called misfortune and lessons. Anything that doesn't arrive at what you properly wish to achieve is just a lesson to show you how you will get there with your next action. It's all about your action. Keep on moving, keep striving, and the actions will build.
The actions will build. Folks, you heard it. You heard it here. Get motivated. We're going to win for it, man. Thank you again, Mr. Barry Morrell, for
Thank
coming
you.
and giving us that motivation. Folks, thank y'all for tuning in on another Tuesday. Creative Financing with JB. Motivation is your success to the future. Man, y'all have another great night, and we'll see you again next week. Good night.